5 members of the United Blood Nation UBN street gang were sentenced in Charlotte, North Carolina, after standing trial on federal racketeer, influence and corrupt organizations, RICO, conspiracy, and other charges. These defendants' sentences are the culmination of a prosecution that charged 83 UBN gang members in the Western District of North Carolina with RICO, conspiracy, and other crimes. According to evidence presented at the October 2019 trial, Lewis and 4 other UBN members drove from Cleveland County, North Carolina, to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, in order to rob an 18-year-old victim of marijuana and money. Lewis and another UBN member then shot and killed the victim and attempted to murder the victim's friend, who survived a gunshot wound to his arm. The evidence presented at trial also established that Ray shot and killed a member of the Crips, a rival gang, at a party with other Bloods in Shelby, North Carolina. Evidence at trial further proved that Husky murdered an unarmed man during an argument by shooting the victim multiple times and continuing to shoot while the victim was on the ground. In May 2017, 83 UBN gang members were indicted in the Western District of North Carolina for RICO, conspiracy, and other crimes. In all, 82 defendants have now been sentenced as a result of this investigation, with 1 defendant awaiting resentencing and 1 fugitive believed to be living overseas remaining. In May 2018, a jury convicted 3 top leaders of the UBN of racketeering conspiracy. In July 2019, Beauchamp was convicted of racketeering conspiracy and wire fraud conspiracy at a bench trial. And in October 2019, a jury convicted Husky, Lewis, Ray, and Smith of racketeering conspiracy and other charges as described above. All other defendants pleaded guilty to their crimes before trial. U.S. District Judge Frank D. Whitney sentenced 3 defendants to terms of life imprisonment. A jury previously convicted those defendants, Drico Dash and Husky, aka Drizzy 28, of Shelby, North Carolina, Rene Rochique Lewis Jr., aka Bands 26, of Shelby, North Carolina, and Jonathan Ray, aka John Jungen, 29, of Lawndale, North Carolina, of racketeering conspiracy, finding that each defendant personally committed murder. The jury also convicted Lewis of murder in aid of racketeering, attempted murder in aid of racketeering, attempted Hobbs Act robbery, and 2 counts of discharging a firearm during and in relation to a crime of violence, one of which resulted in death. Judge Whitney also sentenced Alandis Montrell Smith, aka Kadafia 30 of Shelby, North Carolina, and Bradley Beauchamp, aka Busy 32 of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Smith was sentenced to 25 years of imprisonment, followed by 3 years of supervised release based on his jury convictions for RICO conspiracy, possession with intent to distribute methamphetamine and marijuana, possession of a firearm in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Beauchamp was sentenced to more than 11 years in prison, followed by 2 years of supervised release based on his convictions during a bench trial for RICO conspiracy and wire fraud conspiracy. According to court documents and evidence presented at trial, the UBN is a violent criminal street gang operating throughout the East Coast of the United States since it was founded as a prison gang in 1993. UBN members are often identified by their use of the color red and by common tattoos or burn marks. The UBN has a militaristic structure with positions of Godfather, high, low, 5-star to 1-star generals and soldiers. UBN members use distinct hand signs and written codes, which are used to identify other members and rival gang members, as well as to try to thwart law enforcement efforts against them. Members of the UBN are expected to conduct themselves in their illegal activity according to rules and regulations set by their leaders. Prominent among these is a requirement to pay monthly dues to the organization, often in the amounts of $31 or $93. UBN gang dues are derived from illegal activity performed by subordinate UBN members, including narcotics trafficking, robberies, and wire fraud, among other forms of illegal racketeering activity. Members of the United Bloods Nation gang left a trail of destruction across North Carolina, committing multiple murders, robberies, and other crimes, said Acting Assistant Attorney General Brian C. Rabbit of the Justice Department's Criminal Division. The investigation was conducted by the FBI's Charlotte Field Office and the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, the Shelby Police Department, the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office, the Gastonia Police Department, the North Carolina State Highway Patrol. I must stress that an indictment is not evidence of guilt. Charges are only allegations, and each defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Blessings.